Hello guys, and welcome to this tutorial. In this specific video, I'll be teaching you on how to create a PHP login system. At the end of this video, you should be able to create something like this, which is like welcome host, please log in. You provide your username like Jane, and then you provide your password, and then you log in. It takes you to a home page where it says welcome Jane, and then you have a logout button. When you click on the logout button, it takes you to home, and then you can also register and then add a username, say new user, and then like when the password is less than 6, it will give you an error saying short password, and when the password is more than 6, it's like 6, and then it's different. It will give you a different error saying password you know match, and then a whole lot. And when your password is actually 6 and the same, your username gets added to our users database where you can find our new added user, and then you can actually log in with a new user and then your new password, and then you get to log out. So we have to start our project. So I click on new project, and then I set the name to login system. Okay, and then after my text editor initializing, I get a refresh, and then boom, we are done. So like I will create an index page. Okay, so I'll just create an index file called index.html, and then I'll create a directory for our CSS. So I'll just say CSS, and then in our CSS I'll create another directory called another file called a styling file called style.css. okay, and then outside I'll create another directory for PHP. So this will hold our PHP styles, and then this is our index file. So in our index file, I'll just change the title to login, and then we need a main container. In the main container, I think we need a form, and then in the form container input. Okay, an input, we need an input tag. We set the type to text, and then we give it a name of username, a placeholder of username as well. Okay, so this being done, we just copy this, and then we change the type to password. The username will be password as well, and then placeholder will be password. So now we have our two input fields. What we need now are our button, like our login and register button. So I'll have my first button, and then it will be register, and then I'll just have another button, and then it will be my other button will be like login. So right now I have a form in my main, and then within the form I have an input tag, like an input field with a type of text where we'll be providing our username, and then providing our password, and we have two buttons, which is register and login. With a refresh, realize that our form is coming up, but we need to add some styling to actually make our form, like our HTML, look nicer. So let me just link our CSS file. So just say ref is equals to style sheet, and then href is equals to css, and then like style.css. now we'll go to in our style.css, reset the padding and margin of our whole page to 0, and then after setting our padding and margin to 0, we target our main. Okay, so I'll just say main, and then what do we do to our main? I'll set the height to 100 VH, and then width to 100%, and then I'll set what else? I'll set display to flex, and then I'll give a flex wrap of wrap, and then that's it. I think that's it for now. With a refresh, our form will be in the middle, which expected. So we just say align content to center and justify content to center. This being done, let me target our form, and then with the form I'll give it a weight of 25%, a background color of white. I'll give it a background color of white, so like this cool white, and then I'll give it a padding of 0.5 rem. I also set a display to flex, and then flex wrap, and then that's it. So with a refresh, our stars are aligned in the center, as you can see our form. Now let's give a background color to our main. The main, I'll set a background color of this cool like green, and then we are moving towards progress. Now targeting our h3. Okay, we need an h3 tag, so we need an h3 tag which will say welcome house, please login. And then targeting our h3 tag, I'll give it a text align of center, a width of 100%, and then what else? I'll give it a margin bottom of 10 pixels. Now the next we target our inputs. Okay, so I'll just say inputs, and then I'll set the weight of our input to 100%, padding to 0.5 rem, and then I'll say margin bottom will be like 0.5 rem. With this, we should have our cool form coming up, and then now what we need to target are like our forms. Now let me just, with our input, I need to actually do something. Okay, like font weight should be like 400, because I need to increase the font size. Let's see what happens. No, and then I think that'll be okay for now. Let's just leave it this way. Let me see. Let's just leave it this way. Let's target our buttons. So let me just apply same to buttons, and then see. We have our buttons, register and then login, register and then login. So we're actually cool with our buttons. Okay, now we need to modify these buttons one by each so that they will align separately. So I'll just come to like our buttons. Okay, with the register, I'll create a class of register, and then with our login, I'll create a class of login. Okay, now let me target register. So I'll just say register. I'll give it a weight of 25%, and then I'll float it to the left, and then targeting our login. Okay, so I'll just give it, let me set this to important. Yes, so I'll just do same for login, and set float to right instead. So with this being done, we should have, okay, both should be in a container that will spam like 100% of our weight. So I'll just say div class is equals to button container, and then with our button container, I'll set the weight to 100%, and then I'll set the clear to both. So the clear will be both. We have a cool register and then login as it is right now, but let's just apply some cool colors to. So let me just say let me catch buttons especially. I'll just say background color transparent, and then I'll say border is equals to 1 pixel, solid, transparent, and then we should have cool buttons, and then where's the register? So I'll just set background color for register to something like register should be something like a cool dark, so let me just say something like 333. No, 444, give something else. 333. And then let's see. Okay, register has 333, and then I'll set color to like white, and then font weight, font size medium. Okay, so with this we have our cool register, and then cursor will be pointer. Cursor will be like pointer. So I'm actually applying this for I'm actually applying this for register, right? Yes, I'm applying this for register. And then if this is being applied for register, and then this will be applied for a tag as well with a login. Okay, let me just copy it. Let me do like add some border radius. It's not necessary, so let me just copy this, and then for login I'll set this to some cool green color. So let me just say some cool green color. So some cool green color. Okay, and then I'll set the text to white as well. So like we should have some cool stuffs. Okay, but you realize that when we hover, nothing happens. So like I will just change some hover properties. Okay, like so just say login hover, and then with my login hover I'll just increase the background color to something more a bit deep. Okay, like something like this. And then with this taking effect, right, login hover has been done, and then with our register hover as well, we just give the background much darker as well. We set the background to like much darker as well, as dark as we can, and then boom, you see the differences. So like we've actually made progress with our login page, and our login page is done. Now let's change this register to like an a tag. Okay, because like I have a reason. I hope it won't mess anything up. So like why is this a tag not so a? Okay, and then we'll say text align will be center. Text align will be center. Okay, no, text align shouldn't be center. Okay, so let me just apply this text align to only our register. So just say text align should be on center, and then we have our cool register and then like login page. Okay, so like right now we need to create the register page, right? Like the register page, so that it can link us to a register page. So I'll just come in my root directory, create a new file. Okay, now it will be an HTML file. Now I'll be creating it in a directory called register. Okay, and then the name will be index, and then you realize that a directory called register has been created and the name is index. So to make everything short, I'll just copy what I have and then paste it in my register, and then just change the link of this. Okay, so like that's it, our register is done. So I'll come to my index, and then I'll say like on click. Okay, I'll say location dot href is equals to register. Now on click, I'm going to head up to register, and then with register I'll have to change this to please fill in the form to register, and then the title will be register. So with the refresh and this click, you realize we'll be taken to our register page, and with our register we don't just need one password, we need to confirm a confirm password as well. Okay, so we just need a confirm password, and then we say password again, type password, and we change this name to confirm password. That's it. So you provide your username and your password. We don't need this register. Okay, fine, we need it. Okay, so right now this will be swapped. Okay, this will be login, this will be cancel, and this will be register. So we actually have cool stuff. When you click on cancel, the cancel should actually take you to on click. Okay, location.href, we go back, and then that's it. So when we refresh, cancel, we are taking back, register, we take cancel. So like you realize how far we've come. So like right now, what we need first is we need to actually do what we need to do right now is we need to connect to our database and add a user. Okay, so first of all, we have to connect to our database and then create a table. Okay, so I connect to my database and then create a table. So I'll count to database, and then I just count my local host databases, create new one, and I'll say login system. Okay, database exists. Okay, so let me just, because I'm sure I did something like that, so I'll just select login system and drop it so that like I can actually create my new database. So I have the login created, and I need a table. The table name will be users. Okay, and then I have 4 rows in my users. The first row is an ID, username, password, and then date created. So ID will be like auto increment, username will be text, password will also be text, date created will be date time, and then the default will be current time stop. So and then we save it. Okay, so like that's it. Now this being done, okay, we need to do something. We need to connect to our database. Remember, like I was creating PHP files. Okay, so you realize I created a folder, like not just a folder, but like I created a directory called PHP. Okay, so in this PHP we'll be having our PHP files. Okay, and the first file we need to create in this PHP is our database file. So I'll just say the file name is dbconnect.php. Now we need to create a database connection file. Okay, and then in our dbconnect.php we are going to use PDO because not MySQL, because PDO makes things okay. I think for the starters will be using most of the starters will be using MySQL, right? So like this video is for beginners, so like just use MySQL and then like learn how to use PDO. I mean the database logics are just the same. You fetch, count, and then like those stuffs. It's just like different like functions. Okay, but then they do the same job. Okay, so like I'll use my SQL first. So using my SQL first, I define my host, that's my database host, which is localhost because we are hosting it locally. Okay, which is my local host, and then I'll set my user to my username, and then I'll set my database password to equals to my database password. Okay, the password to your database. By default there's no password, but like I just want to set password even though it's a test bench. Okay, so let me just say db key, and then what's our database? So our database will be equals to login sys, because like sorry, because like that's the name of our database, right? The name of our database is like login system. Okay, that's the name of our database. So this being done, we need to connect to MySQL. Okay, and connecting to MySQL, we are going to use a like MySQLi function and assign it to a variable so that we can use the variable always. So our connection variable here will be route. Okay, some people use link, others use connect. I just want to use like route, which is equals to MySQLi query. Okay, no, not query, MySQL connect. And then what is our host name? So our host name is equals to our host, and then our username, and then our password, okay, our DB key, and then finally our database, right? So this is connected to our database. Now we need to make sure we are connected or not. So I'll use an if statement to say if not route, okay, echo, no, we are going to die, and then say could not connect to database. Okay, so if we are not able to connect to the database, it will give us an error, else it will again just echo. This else is optional. Okay, so else it will just echo and then say connected to, and then we'll concatenate our DB. Okay, so like this being done, we need to include our database in our PHP file. Okay, so like let's come to our register page, and then on top of everything, okay, we just give space, and then we bring our PHP tags, and then in our PHP tags we just say require. What are we requiring? We go back, and then we go to PHP, and then we are requiring db connect.php. now if we don't have any error, use of undefined constant route, assume route. So it's saying undefined constant route. Okay, yeah, this is supposed to be a variable. Okay, it's supposed to be a variable. So like it says connect to, so our connection is done. Now let me change the password to something that will fail. Realize that we couldn't connect. It's saying could not connect to database, and it's giving us the error. Okay, now that's how we connect to our database. Since we are connected, that's okay. Let's just go without our error. Now when we fill our form, okay, when we fill our form, our register form, we need to submit it to a file which will do the processing. Okay, so in our PHP we create a new file called register.php, and then in our register.php we are going to require one file because we need to use the database. So the file name will be dbconnect.php. now where this is our register.php, right? We need to set the action to our form. So we just say action of our form is equals to, okay, php, no, we need to go back one step, and then we say php, and then register.php, and we need to set a method. The method will be equals to post. So this being done, okay, and then we need to give this a name. So the name of our button is register. Now we need to make sure we are actually registering, and then some stuffs are okay. So I'll just say in our register page, okay, I'll say registering. Okay, so I'll just say if bracket close is set post register, okay, which is right. So if our button is clicked, okay, we'll just echo okay to make sure we are on path, and then just using JavaScript to make sure this is valid. So we just add required to this, meaning without this we can't move on. We are just using JavaScript to make sure user actually submit strings. So you realize when I click register, it says I need to fill. When I fill this, click register, I need to fill. When I do that and I click register, so like I'll just put a user like Jane, and then the password, I'll set the password like 1 2 3 4 5, and then I'll repeat the password again 1 2 3 4 5. So when I click register, we are given okay because the button is clicked. Like we have a post set as register. Now we need to do something. We need to get values given. Okay, we need to get our password, our username, and then our confirmed password. So I'll just say username is equals to html entity post, and then username, and then we do same for like we do same for password and confirmed password. So I'll just say password, and then what's the name for confirmed password? I think that's okay. So we have our password, confirmed password. So so right now we've taken our values from the form, and then we can actually echo them out, but like it's not necessary. Okay, let's just go ahead and then make first we need to confirm if the passwords are the same. Okay, now because that's just simple to confirm, so let's just confirm if the passwords are the same. So I'll say if password is not equals to confirm password, okay, we should die saying password does not match. Now if our passwords does not match, this is what we'll get. Since they match, we won't get that. Now let me just try Jendo and say 1 2 3 4 5 and confirm password is 5 6 7. You realize that password does not match and the code can't execute again. Now this is done, so we just confirm password. If it's in real world, okay, what I'll do is I'll use JavaScript to disable this register, and then if this matches, I'll enable it. So there's no need to let PHP do the processing again. Okay, we just let JavaScript do it, but like it's cool, right? So let's move on. And then that being done, what we need to do something else. Okay, let's check in our database if user exists. Okay, so I'll just say validate username is equals to MySQLi query. Okay, and then in our query we pass two parentheses. Okay, one is our connection string, which is route, and then the next one is our SQL query. So I'll just say select all from users. Okay, users where username is equals to user. So what I'm basically saying is select all from users where username is equals to user, right? So like I'll say I'll get the row count. Okay, so if the query is true, okay, if the query is true, which I know it will be true because we can just confirm the query being true by connecting to our database. And then so let me just connect to our database and then let's check something. Oh, I don't need to just go there, I can use my terminal over there. Yes, so like I'll just say let me close this telex. So I'll just say MySQL host is equals to 127.0.0.1, and then user is equals to root, and then password is what I know, and then database is login system. So I'll provide my password, and then I'll just say select all from users. So realize that in our users table we actually have nothing. Okay, 0. So like select all from users, this should actually be valid. Okay, so let me just minimize this, and then I'll say let's count the number of records found. Okay, now let me show you when you run an SQL query. Okay, you realize that it says let me show you something. Let me repeat this and show you something. It says how many empty set, like the rows counted as 0. Okay, so like what it's trying to say is nothing is found, like nothing is found. So what we'll count the number of row results. So I'll just say user count is equals to MySQLi number of row, MySQLi number of rows, and then we pass our validate username. So I'll just say even if user count, okay, user count is greater than 0. Okay, if it's greater than 0, die user exists, else echo okay. So let's just refresh our page, provide a user called Jane, provide matching passwords. Okay, it says MySQL is wrong. Select all from users where username is what. Select all from users where username is equals to blah blah blah. It says MySQL statement is wrong. So let me just run it here and let's see. Select all from users where username. Really? Don't I have this thing called username? Select all from users where username is equals to Jane. This query is actually valid, so I don't know why it's giving me wrong. Why are you giving me wrong? So like, let me just take all this out, provide this, and then with a refresh, let me see what I get. It says okay, so let me change this to Jane. Oh no, not Jane, but then user. And then why? Okay, it says user is okay, so I needed to just bring this comment. They're like these quotations, like single quotes. So like it says okay because we don't have user with that name. So since we don't have user with that name, we can go ahead adding the user to our database. Okay, so we just say now there's something we need to learn how to encrypt passwords. Okay, so we are going to use PHP password encryption. Okay, so I'll just say hash key is equals to password hash. Okay, password hash, and then what's our password is password, and then what hash we are using password default to actually hash it. Now I can actually echo hash key, and then you see how the hash key looks like. The hash key looks like something like this. So like, I mean, somebody cannot guess this. Comparing this to our database, somebody cannot just guess this. Okay, because it's not advisable, ideal to store our rare values in the database like raw password. But then the cool thing is when we are logging in, we can actually validate the password using PHP string. Okay, so like that's one cool thing. So we have our hash key now and we have our username. So what we just need to do is add user. So I'll just say add user is equals to MySQLi query. Okay, and then in our query we pass two parentheses, which is like our route, and then insert into users username, and then password, and then what are the values will be our username, our user, and then our hash key. So that's that. So we'll just say if add user is equals to true. Okay, we'll head back. So we'll just head to login page. Okay, so I'll just say header bracket open, then I'll say location is 2. We go back 1, and then that's it. So we are in our login page, and then I'll again say exit code, else we just die saying could not add user. So that's the deal. So if our user is added, we just spell out and say we couldn't add user. So let me refresh and then continue, and realize that we're taken back to our login page. And when we come to our database, we refresh our database, realize that when we click on browse, we have a new user with the password and the name given. Okay, so now our user has been added to database and we need to log in. So with the login, we just create another script in our PHP and then say login. Okay, now login, we require our database as well, so we just say db connected php, and then to log in, okay, I'll just write the PHP script before. Okay, no, if I do this, most of you will not understand. So we come to our login page and then we say action to our form is equals to PHP and then log in. Okay, and then we say method is equals to post as well, and then this is the name of our login button should also be login. Okay, so we have our username and our password. So all I will just say is if bracket close is set post login. If post login is set, what we need to do is we need to get our form values. Okay, so we just say our username is equals to post username and our password, and our password is equals to HTML entities post password. So this HTML entities actually prepares the value for like submitted to the database. So if there's an SQL injection, like this will strip it and add the necessary like concatenations to actually make it acceptable in the database as just like values, but not like database commands. I don't know, you just have to look into this. This video is basically on how to make a login and a register page. Sorry. And then like if that's done, we have our username and our password. What we go ahead is check if our user exists in database. Okay, so we say if no, so user validate is equals to MySQLi query, and then in our query we pass two parentheses as always. So just say route, and then select all from users where username is equals to our username. Okay, so what we need to do is count. So I'll just say if MySQLi number of rows, okay, and then we pass our user validation is greater than 0. Okay, we'll just die saying our user exists. Now let me just slow down for you people to understand. Else we'll say die, else die, and then we'll say no user. As we say die and then like no user. Okay, so like what we need to do is try out our code. So I'll just say test and then I'll provide my password. Whoa, like dude, okay, I didn't refresh the page. So I'll just say test, then I'll say 1 2 3 4 5, no user. Now let me try Jane, a user we have, and then let's see 1 2 3 4 5 exists. So Jane exists. Okay, now we can make errors to just come back and display error, but then there's no need right now for the error because this video is just some focused on making things work. If not, it will become so much long. Okay, so like when we die, okay, we say like user exists. Right now let's validate password. Okay, so we just say we say user result, okay, is equals to MySQLi fetch associate. We are fetching user validate result in an SQL associate, and then just watch something. Okay, I will say password is equals to user result and then password. So I'm echoing the password we have, so I'll echo db password. Okay, now I have to change this password to like this because we already have a password variable. And then what I'll do is I'll die. There's no need to even die, the code won't go anywhere. So let's just submit Jane, and then the password is 12345. Imagine the password is echoing for us. Okay, that's the password we have for Jane in our database. Okay, that's the password. Now we need to do something. Okay, we need to actually do something smart. That's like validate the password, because just see the password we have. Let me echo the password we have. Okay, so I'll just echo br and then connect it with password, and then see the password we have. The second password is the password we provided, but this is the password we have in database, so definitely this will match, right? So we need to actually validate our password using PHP password validation function. Okay, so we just see password verify. Okay, password verify, and then what are we password verify, what are we providing? We are providing our string and then the hash string. Okay, so our string here is password, and then our hash here is db password. Okay, so what I'll just do is I'll copy this and put it in an if statement. Okay, so I'll say if password verify is equals to true. Okay, I'll just echo password valid s echo password invalid. So that's it. So like with a refresh, we should know whether our password is valid or not. Now password is valid, but like how is 12345 equal to like that weird character? Now that's what PHP does. Is encrypted. You can't explain, you can't actually decrypt this. So like when someone, assuming someone just come to your backend and then sees a user like Jane, assuming this is a Facebook database for users, and someone just peeps in and say like, this is Donald Trump, this is his password. Dude, I've gotten this guy. You go and type Donald Trump and provide this password. It gives you a weird, it will actually encrypt this password again as well. You see the point? Okay, so like you can't decrypt this. It's PHP and then it's PHP. So like if password is valid, okay, if password is valid, we need to do some stuff. So we need to start a session. First we say session. Okay, so first of all I need to say session start. Okay, and then if we start a session, we just say session username. Okay, session username is equals to result username, and then we need the user ID. So we just say session user ID is equals to result ID. And that's not just it, we need to actually get a session login value. So just say session login is equals to true. Okay, so that's it. And then if this is true, we then head to our home. So we just head backwards to like location, and then we say back, and then we go to home. But here's the case, our home is not configured, so we just need to create another folder called new folder called home, right? So like new file call in home, we have our index. So we have our home, and then we just say home, and then we just print welcome. Okay, now that is that. So let's validate again, and then we are taking home, and then home says welcome. Now we don't just want to display welcome, we need to display nice stuff. So let me just come to index and then make a quick copy. Okay, So I'll make index, and then this is our home now. Oh, I need to link my CSS. So this is our home now, but then in this form, okay, in this form we don't want to show this. We just want to show something like welcome horse. So we have our welcome horse, and then we just say, let me just say h3, right? So I'll just use an h3 tag because h3 is already styled. Welcome horse. Now we don't just want to say horse, we want to mention the username, okay, because that proves dynamic. To mention the username, we need to start a session. Now we need one more file, a session file, because we need to make sure a user is logged in, okay. So I'll just say what do I say in PHP, okay, I'll create another file, a PHP file called session, okay, and then in my session I'll just say if I'll just say session start, and I'll say if bracket close not set, okay, session login, okay, if our session login is not set. So I'll just say I'll head back to home, that's login.php, okay. So if our session is not start, we'll just head back to home, okay, and then in our home I'll just php include. So what I will include will be go back, and then I'll say php, and then I'll say session.php. So in our home we are here, and then because we are logged in, we realize that we are not taken to anywhere, but here we need to display our username. So I'll just say php echo session username. So like that's it, and realize that our username is echoed. Now we need to log out to destroy our sessions. So I'll just create a button. Our button already has style, and I'll just say log out, because like we are logging out, okay. So I'll just say class is equals to register to actually make it look a bit and then I'll just say weight is 100%, okay. So I'll just say style weight is equals to 100%, and then that's that. So I need to put this in a div tag then. So I'll just say div class is equals to button, okay, is equals to button container, and then that's that. Oh, so why is this weight not spawning 100%? But like that's okay, since we are moving, I think it's best. Let me just put this button in our h3 tag, and then oh terrible, now I'll just put my logout button here, and then I think that's cool. So you click on a logout to actually log out. Let me just see if I can style this and center it to the center. Text alignment to be center, and then important. So like this should actually center. It's not centered, but then that's okay. I mean, we are focused on like what. So like we have our logout here. Now what we need to do is when this is clicked, okay, so I'll just say on click. So we go to location.href, and then is equals to, so like we go back, and then we enter our php, and then we execute a file called logout.php. Now this file doesn't exist, so we need to create this file. So we come to our php new file, make sure we are in php new file, and then new php file, and it's logout. So in our logout.php, what we need to do is we just start a session, and then set our session all to an array, and then we destroy the session. So we just say session destroy, and then after destroying session, where do we go? We head back to location, and then we go back. So that's all. So like when we click logout, hopefully there shouldn't be an error, and then it should take us to PHP. No, I said logout. Like this should take us to where? Is it taking us to login? No. So where's our home file? This is our home file. This should take us to logout, right? So let me inspect this and then make sure. Yeah, it's supposed to take us to logout. Logout. Okay. So let me just go to the index.php. So I'll need to log in now. I need to also, okay, let me just log in once more. So I'll just say Jane, the password is 12345, and then welcome Jane. So let me inspect this. Just does it. So what's happening here? So let me just check. So logout.php. So I'll just go back, and then I'm in index.php, right? So like, let me just make sure the error is not coming from here. Okay, so let me just die and then say login out, because like I just want to be sure. No, this is taking me to a different file. Okay, fine, I got it. So like it's actually submitting the form instead of like taking an action. Okay, so like I just have to change this to A and then take this out, and then this works now. So sorry, my bad. All what I was doing was right, just that I was submitting a form instead. So please pardon me, and then let's take this guy out, and then it should take us home. Okay, so why is it taking us to what the fuck? Sorry, I just need to get something right. Okay, so let me just change this form to like a div. Okay, I'll just change this form to like a div, and then give it a class of random, and then just refresh this. So I'll just come home. So realize everything is messed up, especially with the styling. So let me just count my CSS, and where I have my form, I'll again have my random, and then with a hard refresh it's working. So when I click logout, it should log us out. So like the issue was like I was just messing up with, so like we are actually logged out. Now let me show you something about in the logged out. Okay, in the index.php, in the index.php we can include our session here. Okay, we can include our session here. Okay, no, we just create a new session. So I'll just say php, and then I'll say session start, and then I'll say if is set. Okay, if we've set session login, if session login is set, okay, what we need to do is we need to actually head somewhere, because if I'm logged in and I come to the home page, it should take me to like my already login page, right? So what I'll do is it should take me to header to, so I'll just say location, and then where will it head me to? So it would just head me to home because I'm already logged in, and then that's it. So like, let me refresh. So because I'm not logged in, so let me log in, and then I'll just put my password, and then just see when I come back to home. Okay, when I come back to home, because I'm logged in, it when I come to log in, like where I'm supposed to log in, because I'm logged in, it redirects me to like home already. Okay, and when I click log out, I'm allowed to stay here. So you can click register, test a user like root, and then I'll just set a password, and then like register, and then I'll log in with root, and then my password, and it says welcome root. So like, just another quick, you see the registration part. When we validate password is equals to true, okay, we can also validate password length. Let me just help you that. So I'll just say if string length of password, okay, is less than 6, okay, so we just die and then say short password. Okay, so like, you can just validate a whole lot of validation. So let me just register, add a user like test, and then I'll give a short password, and then I say this password is short. So like, basically that's how it is. And then guys, thanks for watching this video, and then like, it's okay that you actually watch and learn something, and then like, that's good.